Hey everyone, it's Skyee here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. I hope you guys are all doing well. So today we're going to be coloring part 3 of our bonus Halloween color along. So we've been working in Jasmine Becket-Griffith's Halloween coloring book. We're using Prismacolor Premiers and this is the page that we have been coloring so far. So this is what we have. We have her hair, some of the skin done, her eyes, which I'm still not completely sold on. Her eyes obviously aren't finished, but we got the whites in her eyes done. We're actually going to do her eyes right away here. That way we can do some details in there and kind of make her a little bit more lifelike. So I'm excited for that. So we'll do her eyes and then her skin and then maybe a flower or two. Kind of have to see how it goes time-wise, but we'll get some fun stuff colored for sure and make some good progress on her. So I'm just going to zoom on in. I've already got some colors picked out for her eyes here. I'm hoping they're going to be okay. And before we get started, I just want to put a little bit of a disclaimer just to tell you guys that I don't fully edit my videos. So there may be some pauses or breaks in there that I probably won't remove because I only edit the beginning and the end of my videos unless I leave a note for myself. Usually I'll leave a note if like the boys interrupt me or something, and then I will kind of edit that out, that kind of thing. So other than that, the videos are pretty raw and unedited. So all right, the one thing I forgot to do though was grab my swatch cards. So I'm just going to do that real quick here. So for the eyes, I think we're going to use the black grape. Let's see, I've got the Imperial Violet and then the Dioxazine Purple Hue, I think, I think I grabbed the wrong one. Let's see, I grabbed Indian Throne Blue for the pencils, but I meant to grab the Dioxazine Purple Hue, which is this guy here, this little one, so I'm gonna need a pencil extender for that guy. I think this one goes here, hopefully. It's almost time to retire this guy. Hopefully I can sharpen this because I want a really nice point on this. Okay, not bad. So I want a really sharp point on all our pencils. I want to try and give her some really good detail to her eyes. So I'm just going to jump back to my page that I did in the Mermaid's book. I followed Teo, I think that's her name, on Shine Bright Designs. And I made her eyes really textured. I followed this color along here. Her eyes look so lifelike. I'm like obsessed with it. I want to try and do the same thing here, but slightly different. Try a little something new, but not go too crazy, hopefully. So I'm doing purple eyes. One of the admins for the Hannah Lynn group suggested it. I've been playing around with some colors on the computer, and I'm not gonna lie, I have been having a nightmare of a time. There's just not much that I ended up liking. I did kind of decide on more of like pastel colors that we can maybe darken up a little bit if we don't like them. So we're just gonna kind of play around with those. But my admin did talk me into purple eyes, and I don't normally do purple eyes because they always turn out super demonic looking. I tried doing purple eyes for a Hannah Lynn page. I can't remember what the page was called, but it was in the Christmas book, and I hated it so much that I actually took paper and cut out shapes of the eyes and actually glued it over top of the purple eyes and then redid them that way. So I'm hoping we don't have that same issue here. I think I used like a red purple for that one though, and I'm going blue purple for this one. So hopefully that will make all the difference. Okay, I just want to see where we can see on screen. So I'm going to put my swatch cards up here. That way they're out of my way and also out of yours. I'm also going to just turn my ring light on really low, and hopefully that's okay. Just because it's a little bit cloudy and we have sunlight right now, but it's kind of fluctuating. The clouds are cutting in and out over the sun. So for now, we're just going to do a light layer of the Imperial Violet. This is Parma Violet. Oh my goodness. Okay. Light layer of Imperial Violet. I have my skin tone colors out too, so I really should start reading the pencil barrels before I grab things. So I'm going to put Parma Violet over this one too, just because I already did that and I want the eyes to look the exact same. You can do the same, it's up to you. Did not mean to put the Parma Violet in, but maybe it'll be a happy accident. So Parma Violet again. It's still more of a blue toned purple, so it's not the worst color to pick up. All right, then Imperial Violet. I think I'm gonna work my way backwards here. So I'm gonna grab the Dioxazine Purple Hue. I do want it to be a fair bit darker up at the top underneath her eyelashes. So I'm just using really light layers for now because we still want to add lots of detail, but I just want to have a good base of roughly where the colors are going to be. Do the same thing on this eye. This eye is a little bit smaller because her face is kind of turned, so this eye is actually further away from us. So I'm not going to bring this down quite as far because we don't have quite as much room on this one. Okay, I also want to kind of go over by the pupil as well as outline the bottom here. We'll fade both of those out a little bit. Okay, Black Grape is our next color. Gonna do the exact same thing. Well, I'm really liking it so far, so hopefully that's a good sign. I'm gonna go back with the Imperial Violet, I think. I'm just gonna start kind of making, I'm not coloring in perfect circles, I'm just kind of making like these kind of zigzag shapes going kind of horizontally throughout the eye, or like a round kind of thing. If I don't quite know how to explain that, but basically from the pupil to the outline of the eye, and I'm just gonna kind of keep doing that. All right, Dioxazine Purple Hue. Still with that light pressure, but I want to bring this out a little bit further because this is our kind of like our mid-tone. With that, we can start adding some flicking motions. kind of flicking up from the outline to the center of the eye, or towards the center, but I'm letting it go kind of like right in the center of this semicircle here. I'm just gonna do this randomly, and then they're gonna be a little bit shorter coming out from the pupil. You can make some a little longer, but most of them are gonna be pretty short. Just build this up a little bit. Okay, I think that looks okay so far. Same thing with this one. They're going to be a fair bit smaller, remember, because this eye is a little bit smaller. You can always practice this on a piece of paper if you are not too confident in going in on your coloring page yet. Okay, we're gonna go in with the black grape. We're gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna go quite a bit darker though. I'm gonna really outline her eye now. I'm kind of going over the actual line work and then in a little bit. I'm hoping, since we're using blue purples, that when we put down our Posca pen, it won't bleed through. I'm going to keep rotating my pencil so that way I always have a sharp edge. All right, and then we're going to come in with our black. I'm going to go in over the very top, kind of create like a little rectangle here. And then fade it down just a little bit, and I'm going to make the rectangle even on this side. So this is basically like the shadow from her eyelashes going across the eye itself. I'm going to go around the pupil and around the outline as well. And with the black, I'm going to do tiny, tiny little flicking motions, just enough to make the outer and inner edges a fair bit darker. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. think that looks good. I don't really want to add any more purple to this, but I also kind of want to burnish it a little bit. So I'm going to use my blender pencil here. I'm going to sharpen it and then get rid of any remaining pigment on the tip of it. Oh, and it broke. I seem to have bad luck with these things breaking lately. Okay, for now I'm just going to lightly start. I want to see if I can kind of build this color up or see if I even like it. So I'm just going to lightly go over it. I'm not using circles. I'm going over it in the exact same direction that we put these flicking things in. So I don't even think I need to fully burnish this, but this is blending it in enough. I like this a lot better than this. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same on the other side. Okay, I think that looks okay. So now let's go in with our black Posca pen, or you could use a black fine liner or even a black pencil. It's totally up to you what you want to use. I'm going to go ahead and outline her entire eye. I think I'm going to turn my light off for this because it's giving me a really bad glare. I really need to be able to see for this. So I'm going to try my best to mimic the lines that Jasmine has here. I'm going to give her a little bit of a darker corner on the edge here. Try not to breathe. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. Really not. Jasmine's eyelashes are so gorgeous, but they scare me. Okay, I'm gonna be rotating my book a little bit. I'm going to try my best to stay in frame. Okay, I'm gonna recolor in her pupil, just because I've gotten a little bit of wax color on there and it looks a little foggy. It's easier a little bit to see once the shine goes away from the Posca pen, any places that you might have missed, so I can just touch them up on this side right now. And then I'm also going to very carefully outline her eye, just the iris. I kind of want to make some flicking motions with this. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to follow my instinct. Might be bad. Just want to darken her eyes up a little bit more. I'm gonna let that dry and see what that looks like, and then decide if I need to fix it or not. I'm on the fence, kind of like it, not sure. I think her eyelashes look okay though. I think I'm okay with her eyelashes. I really don't want to end up putting my hand through that, so we're just going to color her neck here and then we will do the other side. Just going to grab my, oops, I got my color swatches for the skin. I think these were all of them. So we need the black grape, which we already have. We need the Parma violet, the nectar and the peach, and these were eye colors. I think we're good with this. All right, so on her neck here, start laying down our shadows with the Parma violet. I think her neck for the most part is going to be pretty much shadowed. Definitely going to have a shadow underneath her chin and along the side of her neck. I'm going to bring the chin shadow down to about here for now, because I don't know how much it's going to be. We'll fade out the neck shadow around here. Maybe kind of connect the two here. And then I want to create a shadow where this, I don't know what it's called. I want to keep calling it a jewelry box, but to be honest, I'm not actually sure. It's as a charm. A heart charm, I think. Huh. Well, I didn't actually read that book before, but after reading that, I'm kind of glad I'm going with the colors that I chose because I wanted these to be silver. I don't know how well it's going to stand out though. I wanted to do something completely different from everybody that I'd seen. A lot of people did these silver or gold and like the heart itself red, but I want the entire thing to look like metal. So hopefully it ends up turning out okay. Just going to darken up the very edges a little bit. definitely want under her chin to be a fair bit darker. So we'll just keep building up that layer there. I think I'm going to bring the shadow down to about here. Let's fade that out. I think that's probably good there. So let's go in with our black grape and we will deepen up our shadows. It's mostly on the very edges. That looks okay. Let's go back in with the Parma Violet and just make sure that this is faded out nicely. Might just lightly go over everything actually, because I do want this to be a fair bit in shadow. So then we're going to go in with the nectar. I'm going to start off with a medium pressure and then I'm just going to gradually darken it up. And we can fade that into this lighter area here. And add a little bit of a shadow kind of where the skin kind of peeks back out from this lily here. We'll bring the nectar quite a bit down below her chin here, maybe to like about here. And I'm going to go in with the peach. And just slowly build up this layer as well and gradually increasing the pressure until we're burnishing all of it. All right, that looks good there. So I'm gonna move back up to her eyes here. I'm gonna grab the black grape. I'm gonna put a real sharp point on it. And it's gonna break on me. Come on, get out of there. Not only is it gonna break, but it's gonna clog my pencil sharpener too. Ugh. Oh my gosh, how did I get that much in my sleeve? Get off. All right, well, let's try that again. This pencil is going to drive me to drink. All right, I got a decent point on this. I'm going to bring this over these black bits here. And just bring this out a little bit more. I think that's better. So it kind of muted the black parts a little bit. It kind of diluted them so they're not super strong. I like that. Okay, that looks good. So let's go in with our white on this one now. Oh, that's not the Posca I want. Where did I put it? There it is, it's hiding. I think I'm gonna do it like this. And then maybe just some random kind of choppy ones around her eye. How does that look? Not very good, I don't think. I'm on the fence. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. I should be able to scratch it off, though. That's one good thing about Posca pen over wax pencil. I should be able to scratch it off for the most part if we don't like it. So I think I'm going to leave it for now. And then we'll kind of come back to it later on and see. So I don't want to make a rash decision because, like I said, I kind of do like it. Part of me doesn't. Most of me does. I don't know yet. It might also look better once we have the other eye done too. Hopefully I have some frame for that. Okay, thank God. I was like freaking out, like, did I move my book? Okay. So now we're gonna do the same thing for this eye. Create a corner here. Like again, I gotta get rid of my light. little tiny flicks on this one. If you have trouble making the flicks small, you can't really do this for the outline, unfortunately, but for this one, you can kind of come from the center and flick it out. And then you can drag your pen a little bit more. It's not like you're just having to do little tiny ones. They're a little bit tricky to do, not gonna lie. Okay, I had to flip my book. Apologies for it being so dark. I will turn my light back on shortly here. This is awkward. I think that looks real good. I think the gray of her, the whites of her eyes is looking a lot better too. Or at the very least, it's not bothering me as much as it was before. All right, now we got lots of skin down here to play around with. So grabbing the Parma Violet, this section here, I'm just gonna pretty much color this in. I'm not gonna go too dark yet, but it's gonna be fairly dark. Same with this spot here as well. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Now let's figure out where our shadows are gonna be. So I want a shadow kind of under her thumb here. I feel like her thumb is like a little bit disproportionate here, so that's bothering me a little bit, but we're gonna work past it. I think there's gonna be a shadow kind of underneath her thumb to make like a little bit of like a triangle kind of shape here. Fade this out. Let's make a shadow here. I'm gonna imagine that this lily is a little bit kind of close to her hand. We'll bring that shadow down a ways. Fade it out kind of right around here and match it up to around the lily so it kind of balances a little bit maybe. I'm torn. I know I want shadows kind of underneath her fingers here where they overlap. So there will for sure be a shadow here and here. But now I also kind of want to have a shadow here or here. So I don't think we're both actually, but it wouldn't make sense to do both. So I think I'm going to choose here. I'm going to put a shadow here. And to separate these two shadows since they're right beside each other. We'll just make this one a little bit darker. Okay, I'm pretty sure she's holding this out away from her body. Technically, her shoulder would probably be right here. I'm gonna look this up and look at Jasmine's picture of it. I don't really like doing that because then it kind of influences color choices, but I already have our color choices figured out, so. Okay, so in Jasmine's painting, that's just really dark, and I'm going to assume that it's background. She also had like this entire area really dark too, but I mean, this technically could be hair as well. I could have done that as hair. I think it'll be easier just to leave it as background. And I'll probably just do the background black because I don't really know what else to do with it. But that's okay. Let's carry on with our shadows. So I think I kind of want shadows on both sides of her arms here. I do have all of her skin in frame, right? Okay, we're good. I'm just gonna keep checking like a million times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the other one's her thumb. So this is part of the flower and not a finger. Put a shadow here. This is like an awkward angle. I'm not sure which shadow. I want one shadow bigger and one smaller, and I'm not sure which is going to be which yet, so I'm going to make them both the same size for now. I want to extend this shadow up a little bit here. Kind of like that. Maybe a slight shadow just right here. Not coming all the way up on her thumb, but just a little bit here. I think I want the shadow, this one to be darker. Or not, well, darker, yes, but also a little bit bigger. Not by a whole lot, but by a little bit. All right, let's go in with our black grape now. I'm also gonna do a layer of black grape over this, just lightly, because we don't want this to be too overwhelming. Still want it to look like skin color, and if we go too crazy with the black grape, then we won't be able to do that. I'm gonna do the same thing here, but I'm gonna make it a little bit darker just in behind her hand here. And underneath this lily. Okay, kind of like that. I want the shadow to be darker coming out from below her thumb. still add a little bit here, just very lightly. We can make it a little bit darker underneath the lily. Tiny bit here. Very, very light shadow up here. Darker down here, of course. I love how dramatic the black grape makes these shadows. We'll bring it up a little bit further on this side because we want this shadow to be a little bit more pronounced. Let's see what time it is. Let's see the time we're at. About an hour, that's not bad. I'm just going to darken up a few of these shadows a little bit more just by adding some more layers. I'm just going to check something too, but I can't remember what it was, so hopefully it's not important. Let's maybe make it darker on this side and just like fade it out this way. That way this doesn't all look just like the same color. So I'm a little bit worried that that wouldn't look good. Okay, our eye should be dry now. So we're gonna do the same thing before and with the black grape. And I'm just gonna make a few other spikes here. For the most part, I'm just going over the black Posca and kind of diluting it a little bit. There we go. And then we'll put our white highlights. I'm going to try and kind of mimic the ones that I have over on this side. But again, they're going to be on a little bit of a smaller scale. hopefully that's okay. Now I'm not sure about that eye. I think that eye looks funny, but maybe just because everything's like so close together. I'm not sure. You can always scratch away some of the white later though, so I'm not too worried. Too far. All right, let's go in with our nectar. Just gonna start with a light pressure, same as before. Just light pressure going over everything, gradually increase that pressure and use small circles to blend and burnish everything together. Do the same thing here. Okay, I'm gonna grab my pencil sharpener and I'm gonna really sharpen this guy. I'm gonna start in on these shadowed areas. We're gonna do the exact same thing, just gradually increase our pressure until we're burnishing them. Since I have a really sharp point, I really don't have to push too hard at all to do that. And then we're just gonna fade out from them a little bit. Kind of avoiding this area of the hand because I just don't quite know how far to bring the nectar out. So we're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist for a minute and I'm gonna color things I have a general idea about. Because here we avoid our problems. No, just kidding, but I do sometimes, not gonna lie. Okay, this finger is going to be kind of the darkest. I'm just going to lightly go over it. I'm not going to completely color it in, but it's going to have a decent base on it. This one's going to have a light base on it. And this one is going to be really light at the top. I'll bring this down a little bit here and then we'll have to fade out from that. fade out from here. Let's maybe extend this shadow a little bit here is what we'll do, and then fade this out. I did not mean to do that. Okay, we're gonna bring it out a little here too. My hand spasmed there. Did you see that? Goodness. Well, all right then. Thank you for helping, hand. Thankfully, it doesn't look bad. All right, let's finish this hand before we go into the other one. I love the look of just this. I don't know why, I like how that looks right now. All right, so in with the peach. Just can't get this hand to look smooth, and I don't like it. I'm gonna really sharpen up my peach. I'm also gonna come back, oops, just up to her neck here and smooth out this area because it also does not look smooth. But mostly just right in here. It's little tiny circles. Anywhere where it looks splotchy or white. I sometimes have this problem with Jasmine's paper. I need really sharp pencils to really get into the tooth of it. Shadows here ended up looking real dramatic. I don't think I faded them out enough. However, I don't really think I don't really hate it either. So, however, I think this hand, we should probably fade those shadows out a little bit. I don't think I went back in with the Parma Violet after I put the Black Grape, and I think that's the difference. So we're going to do that now. Okay, I think that's better. So then we can go in with our nectar, and we're just going to do the exact same thing that we did on the other hand. Hopefully that looks okay. I think it does so far. Oh my goodness, my Snapchat is going crazy. I don't know who's messaging me, but it's either like multiple messages in a row or multiple people or probably just my friend being obnoxious. She gets like that if I ignore her for a while. Not that I have been, I've just been busy. Okay, I like that, I think. A little bit of a darker shadow than I actually planned for, but I'm not worried. And then now we'll just go in with our peach and we will finish everything off here. I'm getting to the point where I'm really excited to see her finished. Both because I want to be done with her and also because for now I am actually really happy with how it's going. I think it also helps that I'm a little bit more calm because I have colors picked out. And don't forget to lightly base the areas that we haven't colored yet. It's a little bit faster to burnish areas like the shadows and whatnot because we've already done so many layers, so it really doesn't take a whole lot to finish burnishing them. But we still want to add a few layers onto any uncolored skin before we burnish, because otherwise it'll end up looking streaky and just not good. think that's her skin finished. Oh, it looks so good so far. Okay, I'm gonna take my blender pencil, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sharpen it. Not with that one. Oh, I really should just throw this one out because I don't use it. I'm gonna make sure it's clean. And I'm just gonna scratch the acrylic paint a little bit and pull it off just a little bit. I'm gonna go back in and just touch up a few pieces that I didn't quite want to scrape off too much. Definitely want to make the circles a little bit more pronounced. I'm just going to layer up on those a little bit. There, I think that looks a little bit better. Okay, I think the last thing we're gonna do is color this flower. So I'm gonna grab some colors and I will meet you right back. All right, I got some colors. Hopefully this works out. I'm not sure because I've picked some crazy colors, so fingers crossed. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my light aqua. I want really sharp colors for this too. I'm just gonna start right in the center and I'm just gonna start basing this a little bit. I don't want to bring this out in full color all the way. I want it to go really, really light, like a really light bluish white. So I'm just gonna fade it out when I get close to the tip. And I'm also using really, really light layers right now too. So I'm gonna do that for all of these petals. This, I don't know what this is. I think it's the bottom of this petal. We're gonna do the same thing with this. I'm gonna kind of fade it off in like a triangle for this one. We'll maybe go in and like add some details to that, but I'm gonna leave it like that for now while we work on these other ones. I do want a little bit of a shadow here, so I'm just gonna color on the top side of this line here. And I'm gonna go in the middle. This is the bottom of that flower. This, I don't know what this is. Maybe like the side of another flower. So I'm just gonna kind of color in the center here. Okay, we're gonna go in with the dioxazine purple hue. Oop, sorry, bumped you guys. Not using full pressure or anything. I just want to piece these colors in here. So I'm going pretty light with this one too. I'm going to bring it up to about here. We'll add lightly to that shadow there. Add a little bit under here. A little bit of a shadow under here. Along the bottom of this one. Just really slowly laying down color on this one because it's a little bit bigger, so I want these flowers to look really soft. So I'm gonna be really careful. Okay, I'll put that there for now. Oh, I'm liking this actually. I'm really liking this. Okay, let's go in with our black. I'm gonna put a tiny little bit of black in the centers, and I'm gonna flick this up. I'm gonna put a little bit of layer of black just on these undersides here to keep them dark. And a little bit of black here too. Okay, I like that. Switch back to our dioxazine purple hue. Do pretty much the same thing. I'm just going to bring this up in flicking motions. I'm going to flick right through these. They're going to be white, I think, so I do want them to be fairly dark in behind, so that way the white really shows up. I think this one will just color in. And this one will color over the black. Fade it out again. This one I want to put like a little bit of a curve on these, so like kind of curved out. Just going to gently color in the very center a little bit and fade that out. Okay, Blue Violet Lake is our next color. I'm hoping this will help us kind of transition into the non-photo blue. Me, I'm not worried about the border because I am going to color that black later on anyways, so that doesn't really bother me. I'm going to color the bottom part of this petal just fully in with the Blue Violet Lake. Okay, light aqua is next. I'm going to try to attempt this flicking motion without making it too dark. So I'm just going to very, very lightly do that. All right, and then the powdered blue, really, really sharp tip as well. Make sure it's clean because this is a pretty light color. So if you have a dirty tip, it will smudge into your coloring, and we're going to be really, really careful not to go over any of the hair. So I'm going to start at the tips and I'm going to kind of go opposite. I'm going to work into the darker colors that we have here. Coloring in the same direction as the flicking motions. That looks super cute. I'm gonna grab my white Posca pen. I'm just gonna color in these, they're called the stamens. So if I don't like it white, I can always color it black later on. Let's add some little dots maybe. There, that looks super pretty. I like that. Let's just make the flower look a little bit softer even. I'm going to outline the petals. Also, because up here, when I was coloring the hair, I kind of smudged a little bit of the brown in over top of the flowers, so I want to get rid of that a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna put a couple dots here too. There we go. All right. I love that. I'm so glad I decided to do that. I'm definitely gonna have to thank my admin in the Hannah Lynn group because I'm super happy with her eyes. I think they stand out quite a bit more than the brown eyes I was gonna do. And then that also gave me the idea because I loved the idea of having these flowers light blue. But she had mentioned maybe doing these two flowers the same color as the eyes. So I was thinking we'll just use those as like a contrasting color and it looks so good. So I'm just going to zoom out a bit here. This is what we've got so far. She's looking so pretty. I can't wait to finish her. I'm hoping we can have her done in part 4. But if we need to, we can go over a little bit. While it's on my mind, though, I'm just going to grab the dark umber and the black. Now that we have her neck colored, I want to just put in those little wisps. Make sure my pencil is really sharp. All right, I'm gonna make kind of like a little wisp coming off of here. And then maybe one going across her skin here. Maybe like that. Hopefully that's not too much. And grab the black and go over those, just darken them up a little bit. I think I want to do just one here. Just kind of like that. There we go. Yeah, that looks cute. All right, and with that, we are done with part 3. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. I hope you guys are just as excited to finish her as I am. Of course, you guys will have already seen how she turns out because I always post to the community tabs, but I'm really hoping she turns out good. So we will carry on in the next part. Hopefully I'll see you back for it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care and hopefully I'll see you next time. All right, guys, bye.